Welcome back, everybody, to the Speedtech YouTube channel. Today we just want to kind of continue on with the last episode of the Mustang R&D design philosophy discussion and kind of show you where we're at now. We're going to try to do this until the car is ready to go back to the customer, and just so you guys can kind of see what all goes into the design of it. So since the last time we had the car on the episode, floor was all cut out, body was scanned, the chassis was in sort of design phase, building 3D models, trying to make everything fit, trying to get ride height correct, wheel fitment, you know, little things like transmission tunnel on the seat height and all of those little things. So now we've got the first chassis tacked together. It's been welded on the weld table, all fixtured up. It's now tacked together, and we've got it mocked up in the car. So it's not installed in the car yet, but now we're going to go and we're going to put the suspension on it. As you can see, front wheels, rear wheels. We've got some mock-up 315 3018 wheels and tires that we use just as a baseline. We always want to use a standard size so that all the designs are consistent. And you know, if you're going to be out autocrossing or in the Optima event or Good Guys, the 315 30 tire is probably the one you're going to lean towards, especially on the rear. Some of the classes are limited to a 275 on the front, but we wanted to make it fit with a 315. That's sort of our goal, is get the ride height where we want it and fit the 315 tire on there with all the steering. So there's a lot of kind of components there, a lot of stuff that's got to fit in the box, and that sometimes becomes challenging. Another one of the design challenges that we often run into, we ran into it on the Charger, there's some different challenges on the Mustang, is, you know, what motor do you want to run? Do you want a big hood scoop? Are you going to put a blower on it? Are you know, what are you going to do? So for instance, on the Mustang, when running the Coyote, the factory brake pedal and master cylinder mount doesn't fit the Coyote. It just simply doesn't fit it. So you have to move it. So we designed the Firewall, but instead of cutting holes for the brake master cylinder, we've laser etched the locations, and then you have to drill the holes and the mounting for the master cylinder based on what engine you're putting in it. If you're just putting a 289 in it, you can leave it in the factory location, everything can stay where it is. But if you're doing the Coyote, it's got to move. One of the things we did on the Challenger when we were doing that is, or sorry, the Charger, was we had to adjust the body height on the frame to fit the big Hellcat red-eye motor under the hood. You know, on that Charger, the hood is pretty iconic, and you really don't see many cars with hood scoops on it. So that was a challenge, you know. So now the ride height comes up an inch to accommodate the motor, but now we know the motor fits. So there's some of these things that you always have to take into consideration when you're doing the design, and sometimes it takes a couple of swings to get it right. So this one, we've got a 315 in the front. We use, we can adjust the ride height without the shock in there. We can check the steering to make sure that that we don't have any issues with, you know, fender clearance. You know, when you try to get all the steering out of it, you know, where's the limiting point? So that's some of the stuff that we do. We're going to check the fit of the chassis to the rockers, the way it attaches. We're going to check how it's going to fit the rear. In the case of the Mustang, we're trying to keep the stock fuel tank in some configuration. We may have to do some different mounts for it, but we want to be able to use the stock tank so that, you know, there's, if you buy a Rick's tank, a Rock Valley tank, whoever's tank, it's just going to drop in and fit. That way you're not dealing with fuel pump mounting and all that sort of stuff. So another consideration. The next step that we're going to do on this one is we will test fit the floor and the Firewall package that we've designed for it as well. So that'll get put in, you know, we'll get it fit, we'll make sure all the joints line up, and if they don't, then we'll go back to the design guys and get them to tweak it a little bit for the next run. So for some of you guys that maybe aren't super familiar with Speedtech and the way we do our design, you know, like I mentioned, we're always trying to fit the biggest tire with the most steering inside the factory body panels. We're trying not to do it with flared fenders and widened quarter panels and all of those things that sometimes can become the limiting factor to doing a project and getting what you want. Obviously, if you want to flare the fenders, you know, fill your boots and then put a 335 on the front instead of just a 315. The other thing that we've sort of started to incorporate, especially with the unibody cars like the Mustang, the Charger, the Cuda, is the removable subframe in the chassis. Sort of two reasons. One is we build some wheelbase adjustment into the front subframe. On the IRS chassis, the rear wheels are set. They can't be moved. Unlike the torque arm that's got, you know, about 3/4 of an inch of adjustment to where the rear axle center line is, IRS, no adjustment. So we've built the adjustment into the front. Different size tire, different ride height, can require the wheel to be in a different location based on, you know, what you're looking for. So we've built that into the design of the chassis too. So just trying to cover off all the bases on these chassis designs so that it fits your project. So next steps on the Mustang project, we'll take the frame out, put it back on the frame table, jig it up, fully weld it, double check all the measurements. It'll come back into the car, be installed permanently, and then we will start the floor installation from there. Hope you guys check it out, and we'll go from there. And then, you know, once we get the chassis welded in and get the floor in, you know, we'll do another video and show you how that progress is going. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that stuff, and leave your comments below.